morning guys, hope you're doing well. We've got the risk sentiment overview for Tuesday, the 11th of 2022. We've got the midterm elections and we've got CPI tomorrow. And there's rumour about Donald Trump running as well, which I just saw on Telegram. I don't know how true that is. So if he does, then that's going to be interesting. So there's lots of things to talk about in today's bulletin. One of the things that we need to be aware of is that the retail guys are getting paid a huge amount on their bets in forex. So we have to take that into account, that they're really getting paid. So we should see reversals on nearly everything, right? Because they shouldn't be getting paid. Okay. And the risk calculation is slightly delayed because the FXCM trading station is no longer working correctly. It's just basically, it says initialized and it doesn't load the data. So we're using SSI metrics from FXCM's Twitter feed, and that's in, we can get that from Discord. And it's in the trading news bit. So that's how we get that data. And so it won't have changed that dramatically, but we do want real-time data. We don't want to use old Twitter feed data. It's not that ideal. When the tweets from yesterday, there's obviously a lot of things have happened since. And yeah, so that's that. So we just have to be careful. Pound, CAD. So that was going to be our trade of the day, but we scratched it because the pound looked like it's looking quite weak. However, it could have just been a ruse, and it might just been like a fake fake thing where it actually is going to be a decent buy. Sentimentally, pound strong, CAD weak, but I don't really trust these moves currently, seeing as the retail guys are really getting paid as well. And I'll show you what I mean with the trading news in here. And this is how we get the data. So how are we looking? So the retail guys are net long on pound USD, okay? And so we might get a crossover. That's the trouble, okay? That's the issue. But they're currently long, as we can see. They're more long than they are short, so we should be falling at a sentimental view, okay? So this is the old SSI metrics that we're using to populate this data. We're using those SSI values, okay? Yield rose, but then we got the midterms. We've got the possibility of a Trump, he's going to run for president again, which would be bonkers, but that's politics. These yield curve is risk off because we've got the inversion. We've got these much higher than the long dated. So we want the 3 month, 6 month, and 12 month to come down, but they're rallying. So we are going a little bit risk off right now. I'll show you there. So it's a little bit risk off, but it's just pretty much directionless. It's not really knowing which way it's going to go. And so we got that. We've got the directionless nature of the indices, and we've got the retail guys getting paid on Forex, on the foreign exchange market. So a little bit of indecision today, and it's going to probably might even be the theme today until we get those election results out. And then we've got the CPI tomorrow. So I populated what I could from the Twitter feed. Obviously, this isn't real time. It's just from historical from the Twitter feed. So I did what I could. I couldn't populate everything. Obviously, if something's got a zero value, it hadn't been updated because there wasn't a Twitter feed for that instrument. But we could do UK 100 and 230 EJ, for example. So I don't know about the dollar. Are we going to try and fight it? Technically strong on the big time frames, and it's looking quite strong on the small time frames. But of course, this is subject to change. And the Euro USD, we've got parity, but we've got this supply above. This might be a decent demand here at 99.89. Do you see? Oh, we're currently below it. So you see how that works. So that would be a good support here. But so if we go below 99.71, then we can come down to test the super trend, and that's quite far. So I took a short yesterday, which I put into Discord, and my stop is now well, it's risk free now, but it was 25 pips just above where I entered there, so that would make sense. What time was it? 10 o'clock. Yeah. Yeah, so my stop was just there. So it's 25 pips stop loss. If I get 25 pips out of it, it's a 1R trade, but I think it's probably could continue to fall because we've got all that uncertainty with the midterms and those elections and the CPI. So this is what I mean about the failure rate. It's very, very, very low, and it's actually quite scary. The retail guys shouldn't be getting paid that much, okay? So I think it's got potentially got legs to downside, and the largest stop loss clusters of the whole FX space is AU below. So it might just want those stops below on AU, and then we can rally after CPI. We had pound CAD long, but I scratched it because I didn't trust it, and the pound, the pound crosses look quite weak, but I don't know. It's tricky. It might have been a good one. We'll monitor it and to see how it performed. It could have been really good, or it could have been quite poor. But we've got the value, the entry. So we'll just see how we are by tonight. By 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock tonight, we can just feed back to see its performance. It might have been a good one, but the trouble is the CAD is strong, and the pound's fairly fundamentally weak, I guess you could say. So yeah, it's a bit tricky. So this is what we're going to have to rely on now. We're using this Twitter feed, so hopefully this is clear. So the SSI, if it's negative, it tells us that they're short. A positive SSI tells us that they're long. So the retail guys are short US 30, and they're 68% short. So this is them going short. Right, and by going short, price goes up because it punishes them, right? And that's how it works. So that was the buy setup because we had the longs overtake the shorts overtaken the longs. So there's an increase of bears. The bears woke up. This looks like a good time to sell. Up we come, right? And DAX, we didn't really get a cross. We got a cross over here. Wow. Oh god, that's scary. And so we really rallied a lot since, and that's where the bears woke up, around about there. So hopefully that's clear. And so it's a negative SSI. It tells us that the retail guys are short. Okay. And SLC update. So the largest stop loss cluster is AU. That's where the target would be. Possibly wanted to try and get that, and then just take their pocket money and take their lunch money, and then they can laugh. And then they can probably target the one above. It's 90 pips between the two. So it's possible we can come and get that. Possible we can come and get that. Probably get that today, maybe. We'll probably get that on Thursday. Horrible. And so the largest move was GJ. But it looked like it was falling. Pound yen. Let's have a look. Pound yen. It looked like it was falling. This is what put me off. Yeah, so we went and got the stops. We did raid some stops. It's just this candle here. It's quite scary. So yeah, I don't know. Pound CAD could have been a good long. We'll have to wait and see. I'm not sure. I don't really like trading the pound right now. It's just pretty horrible. So that's that. So maybe we'll come and get the AU below. Maybe. This is what I was saying. This is absolutely dreadful. Right. So sentiment analyst, which tells us that the sentiment, the way that we're looking at the market is not going to be so powerful today because of this. The retail guys are really getting paid. So normally what happens is that they go one particular way, they get punished, and they go one particular way, they get punished. So whatever they do that way, if they go long, they'll get punished. If they're short, they'll get punished. Now, what's happening is that they're getting paid on their direction. So for the Quasidb system, it's going to be less powerful because they're getting paid, and normally they get destroyed. So we have to be really careful. I normally set a trade up before I do the bulletin, and I just monitor it. But currently, I'm not going to open any trade because of that, and I'm basing my trades on this logic. We want to see any discrepancies, if there's any mismatch. And there's not much mismatch, so lots of indecision as well, not much movement. So we've got to be careful. So I'm not going to open any trades right now because of that. Scratch yesterday 0 pips, that's fine. And there's no signals, which is okay, that's fine. And then so we've got economic calendar, got Euro retail sales, Italy. and I don't know what that flag is. That's bad. And the Eurozone, general speaking, the overall retail sales of the Eurozone. I don't know what that flag is. That's really bad. You'd think I would know being in Europe, or I guess I'm not in Europe anymore, but I'm not sure what that flag is. That's really bad. It might be Hungary or something. Not sure. Anyway, and they've got the Chinese inflation rate, and that's it. So midterm today and CPI Thursday, and then before we know it, it's going to be Friday. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Be careful. Know that the retail guys are getting paid. Retail, also indices are quite undecided, and yeah, we're not really moving that much, are we? We are negative, but it's just sort of pandering back and forth. So we've got to be careful. One thing that we do know that's not going to lie is this VIX. Okay, so if that keeps pressured below 25, that's a good sign for risk. If we go above 25 or 26.5, if it gets higher, then it's going to be risk off. Okay, so this isn't going to lie. The sentiment can give you sort of a false positives sometimes, and now we've got delayed data, so we have to be a little bit careful, and hopefully the FXCM train station is going to work tomorrow. But we don't know for sure. They're probably going to look at a fix, and then it might be the weekend. So be careful, and I'll speak to you guys soon.